I am extremely proud of our next speaker. Not only is the editor of the new edition of the Emperor Wears No Clothes and a presenting sponsor from THC Expo, Hempire Expo, but he also spent 5 years in prison for medical marijuana. We have the Peter McWilliams stage up here. He was Peter McWilliams' partner, got busted working with Peter McWilliams, and Rene Bourget, who was in Canada for years escaping prosecution here. He is a very good dear friend of mine and one of the most hardest working intelligent activists I've ever met. Todd McCormick, give a hand for Todd McCormick. He spent 5 years in prison.
Wow, thank you, Hempfest. You know, I want to say thank you very much to Vivian, who started all this 19 years ago and had the foresight to bring us where we are today. Because I don't know, if it wasn't for what Hempfest is, if we would even have the consciousness of hemp in the world today. You know, Hempfest, I say give yourself a round of applause because you're leading the world right now. You know, and I want to say thank you. I did do 5 years in prison, and like I just said to Vivian, after every Hempfest, I would get hundreds of letters from people, and it would blow me away that so many people cared, not for me, but for some stranger that was representing something that they believed in. And, what we're really looking at, man, is that we got to support one another, and we're the community, and we're trying to make the change. And the only way we can make the world a better place is if we're nicer to each other. And when Vivian was just saying about trash right now, you know, the answer is obvious, bro. If everybody packed up a little piece of trash and threw it away when they got up, there would be none on the ground. You know, and if we cleaned up the problems of our ancestors, so to speak, people that gave these drug wars to us, like in '68, before a lot of us were even born, I think it's time to end the hypocrisy. It's time to change the world, and I think we can do that by resisting all of this. You know, Tim Leary used to say, turn on, tune in, drop out. And I think he was only kind of right. Because I think we should turn on, tune in, but take over. And change what we don't like. Be the change we want to see in the world. And you know what? When they came at me for growing marijuana, my own medical marijuana, because when I was a little boy I had cancer. I had cancer 10 times as a child. It totally sucked. But when I was 9, my mother thought I was dying, so she started giving me medical marijuana to use while I was going through chemotherapy and radiation, and it profoundly changed my life. You know, and it kind of drove me to the activist that I am today, because I've always sought truth. And what we're all doing here today is a representative of that truth. What we're all trying to do is represent a reality that's been stolen from us and hidden from us. And, you know, as Vivian said, I'm now sadly, and I will say sadly, the editor of The Emperor Wears No Clothes, because Jack was like a dad to me, and he taught me all this stuff about activism, and I spent a lot of time on the road with him, and that book had such a profound change on my existence, because nothing else in my history, when I went to class and I was in school, I thought this shit was so boring. It had no connection to me. And then Jack showed me that cotton wasn't the first fabric, and that paper was invented 5,000 years ago using hemp, and that when Randolph Diesel made a diesel engine, he thought it would fit into our ecosystem, that the farmers would be able to plow the crops that made the fuel that pushed the machine that plowed the crops. And only in the last 100 years has these pharmaceutical companies and petrochemical companies come in and taken away our natural alternatives to things like medicine and things like fuel. And the only way we're going to change things is if we resist this shit and we take the power back. Really, it's ours, you know? Hempfest is really a representative of this community, and this community could do this all the time. If we got together and put our heads together, we could end this drug war. We could end this hysteria. There used to be a time 100 years ago when you couldn't find hemp in every house, man. And you know, now you can't find it in any house because they've given us all these synthetic solutions that don't work. And the only way we're actually going to do this is if we do it. Break the law. Commit civil disobedience. And if they come at you saying, we're going to lock you up, say, good. You know, you locked up Gandhi, you locked up Martin Luther King, you locked up Rosa Parks, and at the end of the game, you look stupid for doing it. So go to prison. Don't be afraid to spend a few nights in a prison cell reading books, because you know what? Break the system. Literally, stand up against it, and when you're done with them, laugh and walk away. Since I got out of prison, I have helped Marijuana Policy Project throw 3 parties at the Playboy Mansion for marijuana. We've had Bruce Traveler play, Perry Farrell play, and you know, and our whole whole point of doing that is because we're trying to get together all the artists and all these creative people, because we're not the stupid stereotype. We're not these morons that they want to make us out to be. You know, we're people that care, we're people that are conscious, we're people that are enlightened, we're people that are talented, and we gotta break the stereotype. We gotta stop acting like they want us to, which is to be scared and to be complacent and to do what you're told. So if anything I'm telling you from Hempfest stage is now stand up for your rights, pick up a little bit of trash to show you care when you leave, and you know what? Do what you can and make the world a better place, because one person can make the difference, and that person may be you. So thank you for coming to Hempfest. Thank you, Vivian. Thank you, everybody. Peace and love.
My brother Todd McCormick.